Today we will discuss about intrinsic semiconductor. What is intrinsic semiconductor? A semiconductor in pure form is called intrinsic semiconductor. Examples are silicon, germanium, etc. We know the lattice structure of germanium and silicon is diamond-like. That means the lattice structure of germanium and silicon is like the crystal structure of diamond. Each atom is surrounded by four nearest neighbors with hexagonal tunnel. You see, this is the diamond structure. You have FCC structure, face centered cubic, with three atoms. You see this atom, and this atom. These three atoms have four nearest neighbors. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four nearest neighbors. And this structure, you see, this structure is the hexagonal structure. So you will find hexagonal tunnel-like structure, and the atoms are surrounded by four nearest neighbors. Okay, and this atom is in tetrahedral position. We know that the silicon and germanium have four valence electrons. In the crystalline structure, every silicon and germanium atom forms covalent bond with its nearest neighbor atoms. The two-dimensional representation of silicon and germanium structure is shown in the figure. You see, this is the two-dimensional structure or figure of germanium or silicon atoms. If you consider this is a germanium or silicon atom, then they have four outermost electron. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four outermost electron. These four outermost electron, they form four covalent bond. You see, this germanium or silicon atom have also four electrons, outermost electron. So they will constitute four covalent bond. This is one covalent bond, this is another covalent bond, this is another covalent bond, and this is another covalent bond. So each germanium or silicon atom, they form four covalent bonds. And this is an idealized picture in which no bonds are broken. You see, there is no broken bonds. Such situation arises when the temperature is low, suppose at 0 degree Kelvin. As the temperature increases, some of these electrons break away. Okay, these electrons will break away, becoming free electrons, contributing to conduction. Okay, when temperature will rise, these electrons break away, and the electrons are called free electrons. These electrons, when comes out, they are called free electrons, and the free electrons contribute for conduction, as a result of which vacancy is created. When the electron will come out of this bond, covalent bond, here we will have vacancy in the bond. Here you see one electron is coming out, forming free electron. This will be a free electron, or you may say thermally generated free electron. When this electron comes out, here you have a vacancy. Okay. Suppose a free electron with charge minus q will come out. This will leave a vacancy with an effective charge plus q. This vacancy with the effective positive electronic charge is called a hole. Remember, The vacancy with the effective positive electronic charge is called a hole. The hole becomes the hole behaves as an apparent free particle with effective positive charge. Remember, the hole behaves as an apparent free particle with effective positive charge. In intrinsic semiconductors, the number of free electrons is equal to number of holes. That is, Ne is equal to Nh, and that is equal to Ni, where Ni is the intrinsic carrier concentration. In semiconductors, apart from electrons, the holes also move. Okay, so how the hole will move? Suppose there is a hole at site 1. You see in the figure, this is a hole in site 1, and this is a electron in the covalent bond. Okay, this electron from the covalent bond at the site 2 may jump to the vacant site 1. Okay, so you may see in this figure, this electron can jump to this vacant site 1. So when the electron will jump, in the whole site you have a electron, but in the electron site or site 2 you will have a hole. Therefore, the hole moves. Apparently, the hole will move from site 1 to site 2. The motion of hole is a convenient way of describing the actual motion of bound electrons. Okay, so here the motion of hole means the motion of the bound electrons in the presence of the electric field. That means when electric field is applied, the hole moves. The hole moves towards the negative potential, giving the hole current. And remember, this electron motion, this thermally generated free electron motion is different from the hole motion. Okay. Therefore, the total current in the semiconductor is the sum of the electron current, i.e. electron current due to this thermally generated free electron, and the hole current, let us say IH. So you will have two currents. One is your hole current IH, okay, and another one is your electron current, and that is your IE. So IE will be equal to IE plus IH. Apart from the generation of conduction electrons and holes, a simultaneous process of recombination occurs in which the electrons recombine with the holes. Okay, so at equilibrium, the rate of generation of charge carriers will be equal to the rate of recombination of charge carriers. The recombination occurs due to an electron colliding with a hole. When an electron collides with a hole, the electron hole recombination occurs. Okay. The rate of recombination, if you write RT, T here is the temperature, because the recombination depends upon the temperature. So the rate of recombination is proportional to Ne and NH, where Ne is the electron density or the number of electrons per unit volume, and NH is the hole density, that is the number of holes per unit volume. So the rate of recombination will be equal to K into Ne into NH, where K is a constant, and at equilibrium rate of recombination RT will be equal to rate of generation. Okay, GT, let us say rate of generation is GT, and rate of generation depends upon two things. One is your band gap and another one is your temperature. Okay, so rate of generation will be equal to the rate of recombination, and that will be equal to K into the current density, electron density into the hole density. Ne is the electron density and NH is the hole density. And with the pair generation, if electron and hole will form in pair, then Ne will be equal to NH. So if Ne will be equal to NH, then rate of generation will be equal to rate of recombination, and that will be equal to K into Ne square, and that will be also equal to K into NH square, where Ne square is called the concentration product. Remember, Ne square is called the concentration product, and it depends on the material. An intrinsic semiconductor behave like an insulator at 0 degree Kelvin. Remember, at 0 degree Kelvin, intrinsic semiconductor behave as an insulator, because at 0 degree Kelvin, all the electrons you see in this picture, at 0 degree Kelvin, all the electrons are in the valence band and the conduction band is empty. But when the temperature will rise, then electron will go from valence band to conduction band. You see, there will be transfer of electron from valence band to conduction band, and when the electron transfer occurs, you will find holes in the valence band. These are the holes in the valence band. So when temperature increases, T is greater than 0 degree Kelvin, the thermal energy excites some electrons from valence band to the conduction band, and the thermally excited electron partially occupy the conduction band, leaving equal number of holes in the valence band. Now let us discuss a question. Carbon, silicon, germanium have same lattice structure. Okay, that is the diamond structure. Why is carbon insulator while silicon and germanium intrinsic semiconductors? You see in this picture, this is the structure of carbon, silicon or germanium. Okay, these three, carbon, silicon and germanium, have diamond structure. For carbon, the lattice spacing is equal to, it is cubic structure, the lattice spacing is equal to 3.56 angstrom for carbon, and you see, for silicon, the lattice parameter or lattice constant is equal to 5.43 angstrom, and for germanium, the lattice constant is equal to 5.66 angstrom. But the structure is same. The structure of carbon, silicon and germanium is same. But out of these three, silicon and germanium are semiconductors, but carbon is an insulator, because carbon, silicon and germanium, they produce covalent bonds. They have 4 number of electrons in the outermost orbit. Okay, but carbon, the outermost 4 electrons are in carbon, the outermost 4 electrons are in the second orbit. Okay, but in case of silicon, the outermost 4 electrons are in the third orbit, and in case of germanium, the 4 outermost electrons are in the fourth orbit. So ionization energy of germanium is least. That means it is easy to take out the outermost electrons in case of the germanium atom, because it is in the fourth orbit. Okay, then silicon, then highest in carbon. Hence, number of free electrons for conduction in germanium and silicon are significant, but negligibly small for carbon. That is why carbon is insulator and silicon and germanium are semiconductors. So this is a little bit discussion about intrinsic semiconductor. In the next class we will discuss about extrinsic semiconductor. Thank you.